Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. Thanks for checking me out. I hope you're having a great day. My face looks a little washed out with the light, but that's okay. We'll cope with it, we'll deal with it. Everything will be all right. So that's the theme of this video. Everything's going to be all right. Just heard about another theory. So I thought I'd share it with you because if you pay attention to channels like this, you're going to hear all the theories basically eventually. So I'll get right into it. I'll probably title the video something like that so I'll make it easy for people to understand what I'm going to talk about. It is about black hole. So, did we in fact fall into a black hole? Because I just heard this morning, and again, if you pay attention to channels like this, you'll probably hear about it. So I thought I'd tell you maybe first or second, or maybe you know about it already. So when in 2015 and 2012, did we actually fall into a black hole? Because some people are reporting, I think it was on Reddit, that they see on the Sagittarius arm where we used to be, that now there is a black hole. So that ends up being very interesting that we could in fact have fallen into a black hole. What does that mean? So the data, so basically everything in the universe is information, is data. So as we fell into the black hole, the information is stored on the membrane on the surface of the black hole, the brain, if you will, not spelled like brain in your head. So anyway, that brain has the information. Now, if there were any other dimensions, and in fact any other multiverses or anything like that, as we fell into the black hole and were pushed onto the membrane, all the information of the data of us, then those, here's where it gets interesting, those dimensional levels would be smushed together. So to me, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense that this is what's going on. So it just is another theory, another way of looking at things. But if you look at the data that I was talking about, like for instance when, and by the way, I'm navigating the snowstorm. So let's drive carefully. So decreasing speed. So what I'm saying is that I took the information that someone's taken a picture of me, and when they put in live, I could actually see the information seeming to crunch down and going into the lens in concentric circles. Usually it's 3 concentric circles of information as it condenses and goes less into the film of the camera, and that's kind of weird, right? So now if we're on the brain of a black hole, then that makes total sense, because we're now in the 2-dimensional level for most of this information, most of this. Now, when before all this, I used to be a voracious reader and always reading, sometimes a book a week, and then if I stayed up, I mean, I could literally finish a book in a day or two. I haven't been able to read for a long time. I get my information from videos, and I do read information online, but I just don't sit there for a long time and read. it's been very strange for me not to be able to read, and I'm thinking maybe that's because I'm now in a two-dimensional level, so it's hard for me to take that data and put anywhere, because I'm in a two-dimensional level. Being that I was a quote-unquote high thinker, maybe that would mean that, I have, when my whatever brain or whatever got squished out, maybe there's just more information. I don't know. But kind of funny, your brain getting squished out. I am not like happy, about it. I'm not sad about it either, because it is what it is, and I'm just looking for the answers. And I think you shouldn't worry about it. But if there was that job you ever wanted to get and you're nervous about it, maybe it's a good time to get it, because you're already on the surface of a black hole, perhaps. I'm not saying that this is a fact, this is a theory, so not to flip out about it. But to me, it kind of like makes a lot of sense that we are on a, surface, perhaps the information of a black hole. Now, if we were on the surface of the black hole, we were just data before in more of a 3D world, and that information is on the 2D. So probably the most obvious question you're asking right now is, if I'm 2D, how come I can pinch myself and I feel things? That just because the action and reaction can still happen. All the data, all the information is just put into 2D from 3D, but because we were in a 3D world anyway, all the information is represented in a 3D world, because that's the way we were built to perceive it in the first place. So you really wouldn't notice, which is the interesting thing. What does that mean if we're on a 2D level for the future? Doesn't mean anything. Just could mean that we're going to continue to go on, and that the brain of a black hole expands. So as the information's taken in, it actually expands, in that the brain, again, not the brain in your head, the surface of the black hole is going to continually expand until the end of time, as far as we know. As surface information, some of it would be expelled into a jet, and I don't think that that's happening to where we are in the surface of the black hole, but that we would just, as things fall into the black hole, the observable effects would be what we're observing right now. I'm not sure if asteroids would seem to be more plentiful as we were on the brain of a black hole. I'm not sure. It would explain why we were on Sagittarius Arm, and then we're on the Orion Spur, and then Orion Cygnus. It would explain that. It would explain, because we literally were one place and now we're other place, because it kind of got smushed together. And it does explain a lot of things. So it's an interesting theory. And again, this is just a theory. Just don't get your, you know what, in a bind. But it does explain a lot of things. And I thought I'd share it with you guys because you're going to hear about it anyway. And I thought I'd share it in a nice manner in that you really, you know, can go, you know, death and taxes are even on the surface brain of a black hole are still in effect. You're still going to worry about, I guess, who's president of this or who's doing that. You know, it does explain a lot of things, but it doesn't solve a lot of things either. It doesn't mean that, you know, things, you know, where you were 3D before, you're 2D, but you're perceiving it as 3D, makes total sense to me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for spending the time on my commute to work in a snowstorm. I'm still driving safely. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, and again, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great 2D day. Be the 3D person you were meant to be. Don't worry about anything. And I think it's makes sense. Anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks, bye.